In today's video, we are going to be discussing the division Phaeophyta or Phaeophyta. Now, the Phaeophyta are generally called brown algae. Brown algae, and of course, it is because of their coloration. They possess a special pigment that is called the fucoxanthin that enables them. The fucoxanthin, which is a type of xanthophyll, that enables them to possess this brown coloration. Alright? In fact, the name Phio actually comes from the Greek word, the name Phaeophyta actually comes from the Greek word Phio and Phyta, Phio meaning brown. So you can relate to the reason why it is called brown algae. Alright? Now, doesn't mean that all of them are going to be generally brown, but most of the times they appear really brown. Most of them appear brown in color. Now, let's discuss their structure. Structurally, the entire plant body is called a thallus. It's called a thallus. Now, so this is the entire plant body, and it's called a thallus. Double L for thallus. Now, this thallus is divided into about three basic parts. And the three basic parts are these roots, this floating structure, and the leaf-like structure. So you see that this portion looks like a root that it uses to attach to a substrate. Now that is for those of them that are actually attached to a substrate, because some of them are free floating, such as the sargassum. The sargassum is free floating. But example like the fucus, and in fact fucus is the most abundant. It takes the most part of the most abundant of brown algae is the fucus, belonging to the other fucareos. Now, the fucus has this structure that we are about to discuss. So, and we said that they're entirely marine. They're entirely marine, and in fact, according to Rice, 1996, that the brown algae contains very less than 1% of them that are found in freshwater. So they are almost entirely marine. All right. So that is that about their habitat. Now I was talking about their structure. I said this portion, this root-like structure, is not a root. Hence, the reason why it is called a holdfast. Now, it is different from a root for two reasons. Number one is the fact that a root actually enters into the ground or the substrate, while the holdfast does not enter into the substrate. It only attaches itself to the top layer of the surface, so as to balance this body, the entire thallus, so as to carry it, make it stand on something. All right, that is the function of the holdfast, not necessarily to burrow into the ground. Now, the second difference is the fact that the root of a normal plant, of a flowering plant, burrows into the ground for the essential reason of nutrient absorption, whilst this one does not absorb nutrients. So since it doesn't absorb nutrients from the soil, then there is no reason for it to burrow for it to protrude the ground. All right. Now this part is called the stipe, and of course this side is called the stipe. It is the stipe that holds what is called the frond. The fronds are like the leaves of the flowering plant. So the fronds, and the stipe is like a stalk. It's like the stem of the flowering plant. Now this structure is called the gas bladder. or gas-filled bladder. All right. So it is scientifically known as pneumatocyst. Now, this pneumatocyst, if you remember vividly, it is possessed by siphonophores that belong to the categories of corals. So that enables them to float, if you remember vividly. Now, these guys actually possess this gas bladder to enable them stand in maintain an erect position that will enable the front to be held in place. So if not for the gas bladder, this thing, because of the lightweightedness, in fact, it also gives it light weight, this gas bladder. And because of that light weight, contributed by this gas bladder, it should naturally fall or not be able to stand erect in the water. But as a result of the fact that it holds air, then it is able to help the front to stand in position. For what? For the front to perform its function. And what is the function of the front? Remember I said it is the leaf-like structure, right? So, and what is the function of the leaf in a flowering plant? The leaf is the kitchen of the tree, right? It's the kitchen of the flowering plant. So the same thing here, the front actually contains photosynthetic pigments. So those are the other pigments we are going to be talking about, the photosynthetic pigments. It contains basically chlorophylls A and C. That is the brown algae. This contains what? Chlorophylls A and chlorophyll C. Chlorophyll A being the universal chlorophyll. Now, it also contains xanthophylls, and the xanthophyle that is most abundant is the fucoxanthin. And this is why it has more fucoxanthin than the chlorophyll. That is why it appears brown in color. Alright, so that is that about the structure. Now, let's dive deeper into this front. Now, this front we said contains photosynthetic pigments in their chloroplast. So they have chloroplast in their cells. So, and the chloroplast, what is the fundamental function of that chloroplast? To manufacture food. Now, they store this food as mannitol or laminarin. Now, that is depending on the species of the brown algae. Remember this one from Laminaria. Laminaria is a species of brown algae. So Laminaria will predominantly store its food as laminarin. And their cells, the cells of this front, are composed of cellulose cell wall. Of course, it's a plant, so it's going to have a cell wall. So cellulose cell wall, and it also contains this cellulose cell wall is the one that makes it rigid enough. Now it also contains other structure that makes it rigid enough to prevent or to be able to stand mechanical wave actions of the sea. So and those are alginates or alginic acid. So this alginic acid is a phycocolloid, you remember? Phycocolloid, like we discussed in carrageenan, that is in red algae. So it's also a phycocolloid that helps the plant to be firm when wave beats the plant. So it doesn't allow it to break. So now the last thing we are going to be discussing is the reproduction of this brown algae, but we are going to be discussing it in another video where I'll discuss the reproduction in both red and brown algae. But basically, we should know that they undergo both sexual and asexual reproduction. They undergo what? Sexual and asexual reproduction. But for some of them, one is predominantly the case. So, like for fucus, for example, it mostly undergoes asexual reproduction and almost never sexual reproduction. Alright, so this brings us to the end of the video. We are going to be discussing reproduction in both brown algae and red algae in the next video. Thank you. Do want to subscribe to the channel if you have not.